Hey everyone, it's Jasmine. I'm back with a quick little video. In today's video, we're going into the time I was cheated on by my ex narcissist. Back on this memory with kind of like laughter because it really was so ridiculous. It is borderline funny. To me at least, it's my story, so I can laugh at it if I want to. But for real, it is actually something you guys can take something away from. If you are new to this channel, hey, it's Jasmine, and I would love it if you stuck around. I do upload videos pretty much every day, and if you would like to subscribe, click on the red button down below to be part of the fam here on YouTube. Now, I'm just gonna hop into it here. I was in a very, very crazy roller coaster of a relationship with my ex narcissist for, I believe, about 4-ish years. And then everything else after that was kind of on again, off again. I'll leave the link to the video that I go into a little more detail on the background of that relationship and how it really was and how it played out, all that stuff down below so you can check that out. But basically it wasn't good. And I've since left my ex, and it was just really, really crazy. I really wish I had definitely seen something like this sooner, so I didn't have to go through so many years of just headache and stress with that person. But I wanted to get into the cheating. The cheating broke me down, and I think that it was probably the most heartbreaking part of that whole relationship. And let's just start from the beginning. I was really, really hesitant to believe that this was true. I was a skeptic. I did not want to accept this from this person. I had such a high expectation of who they were and what they were capable of that I didn't think that they could even do this to me. And I know I'm not the only one who has this feeling. Even though the writing could be on the wall and you could just know that they are doing this, you somehow subconsciously shut that logical part off and you tell yourself, oh no, there's no way they could do this. No, there's no way. They love me too much. They respect me too much. They value me too much. They would never cross that line. And all of you out there who are going through something similar, or you think you have a partner that's narcissistic that may be cheating, don't just jump to the conclusion that they are based on watching this video, because I would rather chat with you one-on-one and have a conversation to see exactly what all the circumstances are, instead of you jumping the gun and just assuming because I'm talking about my situation that automatically applies to you. That's my little tidbit there. But for me, I was just playing the fool. I was boo-boo the fool in this whole situation. He actually had a woman, if we want to call her that, because I don't think any woman with, dignity or respect for herself would have been doing what she was doing. But anyways, I digress. This woman was on the sidelines talking to my now ex for over a year, from what I understood at the time when I found out. And this was all hidden from me. The narcissist, my ex, didn't see any reason to tell me about it, obviously. They hid it from me. And the whole time we were in a relationship, I would say for a year or more, they were talking to this third party, this other woman. And they didn't think of it as anything wrong. They didn't think of it as anything that they needed to disclose to me. And so this went on. And it was mostly texting and, being on social media, following each other on social media, Snapchat, Facebook. And this woman would flirt with my, at the time, boyfriend. And she knew very well that he was tied up with someone else, being me. And that's kind of where I lose complete respect for this person, because that's a very low down, dirty thing to do. And if it was you reversed in this situation, you wouldn't like it. So anyways, they knew the whole time I was in a relationship with this person. And I'm not saying that she's all to blame. They both share equal blame because they both knew what they were doing, and it's both equally bad. But anyways, I was giving this man a second chance, right? Or a millionth chance at this point. And The funny way I found out was I didn't find out from him. You rarely will ever have a narcissistic individual tell you what they're doing, especially when they're cheating. They hide that like crazy. They deflect and they'll put the blame on you if you suspect anything. Like, why are you asking me questions? Why would you ever think I could do that? Fake news, whatever. My ex actually said it was fake news, like verbatim, fake news. But anyways, how I found out was from social media. I saw that the woman had been posting things with my then ex-boyfriend. And I think it really bothered me that she felt so comfortable sharing stuff like that on social media. But more deep than that, that he was making her feel that comfortable. And that really bothered me. That let me know that the comfort level of what was happening just proved that this had been going on for a long time. That there was absolutely no fear left in him of being exposed and me finding this out. There goes the arrogance and the cockiness of, narcissistic individuals. Very arrogant of, believing that they're not going to get caught, believing that they're entitled to do this type of stuff. But anyways, I found out, I confronted him on it. I was like, hey, what is going on? I see that, basically who is this, right? And just unfazed by it. They were like, oh, don't know what you're talking about. Fake news. None of what you're saying is true, Jasmine. That's what I got. And none of what you said is true, by the way. Nothing. So pretty much they lied to me about it, even though I confronted them with what was really going on. They knew what had happened. They knew what they were doing. So they thought, and this goes into the arrogance and then the entitlement factor, and just being so cocky because they had been doing this for so long and deceiving me for so long, that they thought this was okay. That they just straight up lied to me about it so easily too. I knew the whole time what I was talking about was fact. I saw the postings. I had confirmed it actually with some mutual friends who, had seen them out and about together. So I knew what I was saying was factual and I wasn't just making anything up. And he just lied to me about it. Like, that was okay. Which it's so disgusting to me. It's so, it just, and I just want to mention there's a borderline difference between a man being a man, or, man or woman being just, a cheater or whatever, because they can and because they think they can get away with it. There's a difference between that and doing these things almost like without any conscience, right? Doing it to boost themselves up and have someone on the side glorifying them and inflating their ego, and still thinking that it's business as usual. They can come home and lay down next to you, and you, the victim of this, should just be okay with all of this, right? There's no thought process that empathizing with what's going on here. It's almost like thinking that this is absolutely normal, and that's where I think it borderline is on a narcissistic ends there, and not just a typical cheater. Now, I confronted them on this again multiple times. I was like, I was not going to let this go. I know what's going on. I'm not going to accept this lie. I know what's happening. Any other time, I may not have even cared enough to do digging, but this, it came out to me. So I found out, right? You've been exposed. And they were still thinking that I was just kind of like, I could be easily derailed into thinking that I was just crazy. But at some point they found out that I really knew based on what I was saying, right? And then that's where everything just took a really sharp turn from just deflection and it was not true, no idea what you're talking about, to projecting onto me, asking me about all the guys I was sleeping with, or the guys that I was seeing, saying that, the timeline didn't make sense, So I was wrong in the time frame of when all I was accusing him of happened. He said I was accusing him, and he didn't like the accusations. Accusations, we'll use that word very loosely. And essentially, he pretty much tried to gaslight me hardcore into thinking that everything I was seeing and hearing was make-believe. It was fake news and lies. And on top of that, the cherry on top, it was, he even got very, very aggressive and like very, what's the word? Riled up that I was persisting on this, right? He wanted me to just let it go and forget about it, but I wasn't. And that was making him angry. And I wasn't asking in a very like badgering, kind of like attacking way. I just kept bringing up like, who is this? Is this your girlfriend? As she's posting on social media, is this someone you're dating? I want to know, is this true or is it not? And I remember very vividly asking that question. Is this true or is it not true? Is it true or is it not true? And when I tell you, because I called, I was like, hey, is this true? What's going on? I've seen all this stuff. What's going on? When I tell you it was dead silent on the other end of that line, quiet, crickets. I kid you not. He had nothing to say to me about it. He either was thinking that either way he could spin this, it wouldn't matter because I knew, right? He was trapped in this whole conundrum. And he hung up the phone on me because he didn't want to say anything because he knew I knew in that moment. And after that, it took like such a strange turn. He would like avoid meeting up with me to talk about it in person. So I was restricted to just phone calls and texts. Once I found all this out, that's how I knew everything was true. It was all valid, because absolutely no way is anyone going to pretty much hide, be like a turtle on a turtle shell and just retreat if you're being truthful. Most people, if they're caught in something and they know it's completely not true, they'll be like, shut up, it's not true, blah, 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 whatever. That's stupid. No big deal. Don't even know who that is. But when you know you really did something, then you go into hiding. You become a ghost, right? And that's what happened in this situation when I confronted my ex narcissist. The texts and phone calls, they would try and ignore them, avoid them, and say basically, oh, whatever, think what you want, and they would not, until this day, a year later, has never ever sat down with me face to face after I confronted them about cheating on me. Let's think about that. I know it's like past, it's over, but let's really say that again. A year later, I have not formally actually sat down with this man face to face to talk to him about what occurred since the day it happened a year ago. And I'm like, you were so cowardly that when I brought this up to you, not only did you avoid me in conversation and hang up the phone on me in a phone call, and you were evasive and trying to spin this in text, you refused to even sit down with me face to face because you knew you were lying to me. And you couldn't save face, and you were scared. You didn't know what to say because I was right. And then there's the sensitive, cowardly, afraid of confrontation traits of narcissistic individuals as well. It really, really just exposed a lot with this individual. And the cowardly behavior really, really shocked me. I would never think that, they would stoop to that level of trying to really hide from their actions when confronted like that. I thought that was just beyond childish. But a year later, they're still in that denial frame of mind. I've never been told it happened. I was never, been like, yeah, it happened, whatever. We're not together, so what? Didn't work out, nothing. I literally we were talking about, hanging out and, all this stuff and just chilling. And then all this came out. I found out about his cheating, not alleged, actual cheating. And from there, everything just kind of cut off. It was the strangest thing. He just went ghost, completely disappeared, poof, magic trick, nothing. And it just goes to show, when you catch these people in a lie, especially with cheating, they will defend it to the grave. And if that defense doesn't work, they will never admit it. They will never admit it. They will still play as if it never happened. And that's what happened in my case. My ex knows that there will be no good from even admitting it to me. I already know, but shit would still, excuse my language, guys. I don't want to get copyrighted there, so act like you didn't hear that. But me knowing is bad enough. You know what I mean? And I think they kind of know that. So they got exposed, and we both know what the truth is. And they're deciding to stick with the, oh, never happened, don't know what you're talking about card. And a year later, and I don't want to say this like confidently, but my confident opinion on this is the only reason they left it that way without, conceding that it was true, the cheating, and at least being that much of a man about it, just going ghost and, cutting off the conversation that he didn't like, is to try and re-enter my life later down the line and use the plausible deniability. Oh, it never happened. I never admitted to anything. So that's kind of where it left off. So moral of the story, that's how I found out about the cheating. That's what happened preceding me confronting my ex-narcissist. And I know it's not super, super interesting. There was no fireworks, there was no fights or anything. Oh, there actually was a fight. I went over to his apartment, right? And I actually caught the bitch over there. I caught her in the apartment with him. And granted, it was like a month or so after I confronted him, but I had something still at the apartment that I had to pick up. And more confirmation, I saw her out the corner of my eye in the actual apartment, just chilling there on the sofa. And, he answered the door. He was stoned. He was high as a kite. And it took him a second to catch on, but as soon as he realized I was right there and the chick he had lied to me about was right there behind him on the sofa, he closed that door so quickly. And officially, that's the last time I saw him. But after that, there's just no coming back from that. Narcissistic individuals, and I've learned this from dating one, they don't like to be caught in a lie. And if they are, they will disappear. They will ghost you. They will just disappear like you don't exist, like nothing that's happening is happening. If you want to know about disappearing acts and all this stuff, I did a video on that a couple weeks ago about when narcissists disappear. But that's exactly what happened. They just disappeared on me because I found out, and they didn't want me to find this out. So as always, be well, be safe, and I will see you all in my next video.